Hi, I'm Vince Giordano, Executive Director of the New Jersey Education Association. NJEA is committed to celebrating excellence in education. That's why we're proud to support Teacher Appreciation Week, a special series produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation celebrating New Jersey's talented and dedicated teachers.
Excellence in education, next on Caucus, New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus, New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan. Turn a dream into a degree. New Jersey Council of County Colleges. Barnabas Health. Sun National Bank. And by QualCare Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents.
Welcome to Caucus, New Jersey. I'm Steve Adubato. Here in the studio are four very talented educators from across the state of New Jersey to talk about the changing landscape of the teaching profession in New Jersey and the nation. They are Marianne Woods Murphy, a Spanish teacher who's been doing it for 34 years, hard to believe, from Northern Highlands Regional High School, 2010 Teacher of the Year. Jennette Williams, reading specialist, Edgemont Montessori Elementary School. There's a misprint here. It says 43 years teaching. We'll investigate later. Patrick Chestnut, physics teacher, Woodstown High School, 14 years, and finally was with us on one-on-one. She's back again by popular demand. Danielle Kovach, third grade special education teacher, Tulsa Trail Elementary, 2011 Teacher of the Year. How you guys doing?
Doing okay.
Now this is Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes.
Why isn't every week Teacher Appreciation Week?
That's what I'm talking about. We really need to.
It is in our house.
It is in your house?
Absolutely.
What's it
My
like?
wife's a school teacher, and I appreciate her.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the dinner conversation like?
Well, we try not to talk about school. We
Are you serious?
Well, we come home, we talk about it for a bit, and then we move on to better things, our children and what they're involved with, and you know, life is good. Really, the day in teaching is uneventful. It's great every day, and so we just enjoy ourselves.
You know, we do this with our kids. Our two sons are 8 and 10, and our little one's 2.5, so she's not in school yet per se, official school. But we're such fans of public school teachers, and we've been so fortunate and blessed to have great public school teachers teaching our kids. And so we'll ask over dinner, what was the greatest thing, the best thing that happened in school today, and our sons are like, oh God, not again. And inevitably winds up being something connected to a teacher, an interaction with a teacher, a lesson learned by a teacher, from a teacher. 43 years,
Yes.
Not a misprint.
Not a misprint.
Best thing that happens to you on a regular basis is?
The excitement that I see in the children's eyes when the light bulb goes off, when they get it. Yeah.
Given the fact that it's been 4 decades,
Yes.
is it harder to have that light bulb go off with students today than it was a while back? Given, let me finish.
Okay.
I watch our kids spending too much time on a computer, too much time engaged in communication that is not face-to-face, and I worry about it. Have students changed to the degree that it is harder to have that light bulb go on?
No, because you engage the students through their modalities, you know their multiple intelligences, you know their learning styles, and that's what you tap into.
Jump in.
Absolutely. I think that the light bulb has been going off for many years, and it's still going off, but you have to learn how to reach them where they are. You have to personalize education and help them connect with what you're learning. They have to have a real world experience in the classroom in order to connect. That's vital. And also, the human relationship has never been more important. Both at the same time that we're having computer and technology and all kinds of exciting things, we also need to connect with the whole child.
So if I were to say the essence of great teaching is?
I would say just because our world is changing does not mean teaching is not. So we are incorporating life into our teaching.
For example?
For example, I don't have a chalkboard in my classroom.
You what?
I do not have a chalkboard in my classroom. I do not have a whiteboard in my classroom. I have 2 smart boards. I have 4 computers. And that's the world that our children are living in, and that's the world that we teach in the classroom.
Is that easier for you because you are a younger teacher?
I think, you know, there's younger teachers that are still having difficulty with technology. I don't think it matters if you're young or old. You're never too old to learn anything. So, you know, I don't think age matters at all.
What does the technology allow you to do as a teacher?
You know, it allows me to give my students more of a hands-on, multi-sensory approach to learning. It helps engage in their attentiveness, but it doesn't replace what I'm teaching. It just enhances what I'm teaching. We still have conversations with each other. I still promote eye contact. We still have to write. So it doesn't replace, it just enhances.
Patrick.
We live in the future. This is the 21st century, and technology is an essential part of my classroom. Again, I don't have a chalkboard. We use smart boards, and technology allows me not only to give information to the kids, but to collect information on their performance. During instruction, we use what's called formative assessments, and we use technology in order to collect information on the fly to make decisions.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question this way. The qualities of an exceptional teacher, all of which you are, the qualities of an exceptional teacher include the following. Go.
Being flexible.
Being flexible. And you laugh.
She stole my answer.
Being flexible and come up with another one real quick. Being flexible, go ahead, make the case.
Again, with technology, being able to go out there and learn what's new and different, being able to bring that into the classroom to apply it to your mode of teaching. You were talking about technology. Our teachers use Promethean boards, and there's the computer table that children can use as well. So with the Promethean board, the teachers are able to bring in information online, use it to instruct and create their own lesson plans and present it on the board. So it's quite interesting.
Okay,
so, yeah,
go.
Being a lifelong learner and a content expert, but not knowing all the answers. So understanding that now as a teacher, we're the head of a learning team in a learning community, and our students are our colleagues, and we're working together to make real things happen. That's a fundamental shift in the profession that's very exciting. And to loop back to what you were saying before about age and teachers and technology, I think I've seen so many veteran teachers get completely turned on to the new possibilities. I'm a Spanish teacher and I can do Google Earth. I don't have to carry menus back from Spain. I can look for them on the internet.
Technology, maybe for older teachers or seasoned teachers, we should say, we can allow the kids to take over and let them take the lead, which is what the goal is.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Go back. The essence of being a great teacher is?
Allowing the kids to be in control of their destiny, allowing them to make decisions on a daily basis about their learning.
That sounds a little kumbaya-like, which is
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
absolutely it is. Yeah.
But I need a concrete example.
Allowing them to work at their own pace, but by using technology. The organizations that I'm working with, we're taking information and flipping it. We're placing it on the internet for the kids to access in their own time and work it at their own pace.
Is that what's called PSI?
It is.
What does that stand for?
The Progressive Science Initiative, which is, and we also have PMI, which is another branch of that.
Does education have enough acronyms?
Not yet. Not yet.
Nothing has more.
And it's brought to us by the NJCTL, which is an organization, there you go, which is the New Jersey Center for Teaching and Learning, is providing tools for teachers and learners to work and solve problems and become 21st century learners.
By the way, what's the other one? There's another one. P what? What is it?
PSI.
What's PMI?
Progressive Math Initiative.
Progressive Math Initiative. What's up with that?
Initiative. Well, actually, I use PMI in my classroom, and it's aligned with the Common Core standards, and they are lessons that are also aligned to using with the smartboard. But if you don't have a smartboard, you can also download them as a PDF also.
All right, but she took your answer
took
about
mine.
being flexible. So go ahead. The essence of great teaching is being what?
Compassionate.
Doing what?
Compassionate. Being compassionate. Studies have shown that students who feel cared for, who feel loved in the classroom, are more receptive to learning.
You have to love these kids?
You have to. And I do. I greet my students every day. I make sure they know that they are loved, they are cared for, they're in a place where they feel safe, and you know, and they love to be in school.
Beyond that, do you not have to, okay, but you can't have all these things. Being a great teacher, is it better that the teacher is skilled and knowledgeable and an expert in his or her field, but they don't love the kids? They just don't love them. They don't dislike them. They don't love them, but they're an expert in his or her, just, they are so good in it. Go ahead.
You have to be able to have great interpersonal skills. You may
That's
not
a must
be,
or a like?
You must. I believe you must, because you don't have to. You can't require of a teacher that they be a Mother Teresa, of the world, and all kinds of compassion and over the top. It's not required, but you can require that a person has an ability to form relationships with children and with colleagues. That is a requirement of the job.
Is it a requirement to be an expert in your field?
I think so.
Yes. Yes.
To master a body of information around your respect field?
I don't think anyone's ever an expert. I think that you need to make sure that you continually add on to your profession. I would never call myself an expert on any one thing, but I know that I'm continually learning, I'm continually going to school, I'm continually going to workshops. I think if you call yourself an expert, then you stopped yourself to learning.
That depends on how you define that. I would
Right,
say
true.
you want to be secure. So yes, you want to be an expert, but you don't stop learning.
Right.
Being an expert does not mean, hey, I'm done.
Right.
Not at
So you know
all.
what's interesting to me? Without you saying it, what I'm
Yes.
hearing is, it is impossible to be an exceptional teacher without, it is impossible to be an exceptional teacher if you stop being a student.
That's right.
If you
I
say,
would
I'm
say-
done, I'm done
yeah,
learning.
right.
Right.
Yeah. You can't be
I'm done. I know this stuff, I'm good.
You can't
Yep.
do that because you can't put a child in a little pigeonhole. And every time you think you may have it down pat, oh, I know how to do this with the children, here comes that one student who you have to work with. You have to think out of the box in order to bring that child to fruition.
Now, I'm going to try this one.
Okay?
I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
You're tough. But I like that. Do you think that I'm going to ask you individually. Do you think you were born to do what you're doing? Do you think you were born to teach?
I think so. I think it's the perfect job for me. I think that my passion for learning and my love of children combine into making this a great job and I've been able to have serious impact, I believe. Plus, I get more than I give, because going into a room of teenagers every day, though it wouldn't be everyone's paradise, for me, it's very joyful.
Do you have a great role model?
Yeah, I mean, my parents were very kind people. They were lifelong learners. They went back to college in their 60s. I watched that. My father, when he was very old, he had a stroke and he learned to read again. So, that's beautiful. And that's what it's about. It's about I'm doing a doctorate now, and I've been in the profession for over 30
Never
years.
stopped learning.
Never.
Born to teach?
Definitely.
When did you know?
When I was about 8 years old, because I used to play school with my sister, and she did her graduate work at Columbia, and I think that the reason that she was so successful, both as an art teacher and as a student, was because of my inspiration. When I was 8 years old and she was 4 and a half, I would give her tests, spelling tests, math problems, the whole 9 yards.
Where'd it come
I did it
from
all.
for you?
Within me. It was just, I was born to teach.
No one around you was saying, come on,
No.
you should do this.
No.
There was no role
No.
model for you.
No,
Was
well,
there
my
a
mother...
was there a teacher in your life who you connected with at a very young age, who inspired or moved you, that you can remember?
At a very young age, yes. We talk about teachers being the role models for us, and sometimes the role model can be the thing not to do.
Wow.
And so that was what was
Wow.
an inspiration for me, what not to do.
I'm not going to ask you that teacher's name, but I bet the ranch you remember that teacher's name.
Yes.
Isn't that funny? You don't want to ever be that teacher.
No, exactly.
When did you know?
Worked as a scientist for a few years after going to university, and was not happy in serving that role. And I knew immediately I had to go back and do something else. Did not have much of a choice. Teaching is a family tradition. My father's a physics teacher. I have a twin brother who's
does
also
what?
a physics teacher. Absolutely.
You must have great family dinner conversations about what?
We talk about teaching. the three of us.
Okay.
But absolutely, and we reflect on it constantly. And I have a lot of other cousins and aunts and uncles who are also teachers.
It's in the family.
Absolutely.
When did you know?
When I was little. I had the best group of students, my stuffed animals and my dolls.
Okay.
And I would put them on my bed, and I would pretend my closet was the chalkboard, and I would teach to them.
You didn't have a smart board back then?
I did not have a smartphone back then, no.
I'm going to get into an area that's more challenging. Evaluating teachers. A lot of discussion about how to do that, how to measure teacher performance, teacher success. What do you believe the best ways are to do that? The keys to evaluating a teacher are?
Realizing that our students are not numbers. They're better than numbers, and our teachers are better than numbers as well. So I think the best way to look at it is to look at the child as an individual, look at our teachers for their expertise, as we said before, for their profession, look at their learning, and stop looking at the numbers.
Well, hold on. You jumped right into the test scores. I didn't ask you that, but you took it on, so then I'm going to take it on. I believe you just said that you do not believe it's appropriate or effective or right to measure a teacher's performance or evaluate a teacher based on the performance of a student.
No, based on the performance of a standardized test.
Well then, okay, so take out the standardized test.
Okay.
That's what you're saying?
Right.
Who disagrees?
I welcome it.
Go ahead.
In all honesty, I'm not at all concerned about using my students' performance in order to reflect upon my practice. And I really think that's what the teacher evaluation models are going to be about, is can we reflect on what we've done in the past to make things better for our kids? And I don't take it personal in any way.
Weren't you part of one of the pilot schools that, in fact, have done this?
Absolutely. Woodstown has taken the lead. Woodstown High School has taken the lead in the observation models, the EE4NJ, as well as the student objective.
And it's been a positive experience for you?
Enlightening.
What has it taught you?
It really, what has it taught me? It's made me realize how much I love what I'm doing, and what I like about it, I'm not answering your question, is that it gives me a target for ways to improve.
But what would you say to those who say, wait a minute, a teacher is doing a great job, he or she is doing the best they can do, but particular students don't perform particularly well on a standardized test, and then that teacher is now adversely, negatively evaluated based on that student's inability to perform well on a standardized test. And you do understand that argument, don't you?
Sure I do, absolutely.
But what?
But again, we do not have the option of allowing these kids to fail. And again, I'm going to look at it as it'll give us the ability to identify who these kids are and work with them, or the teachers.
Give me a couple more minutes on this. I love how people think teachers all think the same on this.
I mean, teacher evaluation should be part of a conversation about continuous improvement. That's what it should really be. So in an ideal world, that's what's going to happen. The problem is that as professionals, we've really enjoyed a large measure of freedom in our individual classrooms, and we want to do what we want to do, right? So it's been hard for us to break down the silos from classroom to classroom. So in that sense, the testing presents an opportunity. On the other hand, we may or may not agree with what's being tested and whether our classroom practice should really change to match that.
And you know your classroom best.
Yeah. And so
you
that's
know your students best.
Yeah.
That's the way you see it.
That's the way I see it.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. But it's challenging, right? We're in a situation of changing paradigm.
Go ahead.
Evaluation is important. We recognize that. We know that, and we've always had it. We understand that we need to know how the children are achieving. But we also need to recognize, again, and this is what I was saying at the beginning, that children have different learning styles. We need to tap into those learning styles. Is that in the little box that gets measured? Children have multiple intelligences. Are those in the boxes that get measured?
What do you do with a child who's categorized as in a special education area? What do you do with that child?
Oh, you work with that child's needs.
But then how does that child's test scores on a standardized test?
Because we want to see growth. We want to see that the child has moved from where he or she was and made progress in whatever way, shape, or form.
Do you worry about that?
I'm completely worried about it. What bothers me the most with using the standardized test scores is that for my students, I'm driven by their individualized education plan. And for some of my students, reading on a 3rd grade level is not in their plan. It may be just to recognize sight words. It might be to, complete simple sentences. And what a standardized test is telling me is that, okay, all year long we've worked on what you need to succeed. But here's the standard and you have to fit that. And if you don't fit that, your teacher's performance is going to suffer. And they're taking a 3rd grade standardized test that's going to be compared to a 4th grade test.
Paradigm is shifting. It's going to be an interesting, ongoing debate and discussion. And I will continue this, particularly on our other program, Capital Report, where we do public policy. But I thought you can't get these exceptional teachers together without putting it out there. So I appreciate your talking about it. Let's shift gears.
But just one
Oh,
point.
you want to keep going?
New Jersey has always been successful. We've always had successful schools.
But this is a new model. This is definitely a new model.
But we don't always need to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Got it. Let me ask you this. Do you sometimes feel that teachers have become the scapegoat, the target, the whipping boy or girl, if you will, for much of what is wrong in society, particularly with our children? Anyone ever feel that?
Sure. There's a lot of heat right now on teachers because our society is challenged, right? We have economic challenges, we have all kinds of things happening, and so teachers are likely suspects, really, to think about our profession. But I take it as an opportunity, actually, for us to be in the forefront and to lead the changes. Like, I'd like to see, I mean, there's some cool things going on, like opportunities for teachers to be leaders, changing this from top-down schools.
Opportunities for teachers to be leaders, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me challenge on that in an interesting way. You see a teacher, that's great. See, you're these exceptional teachers, right? You have these great role models. When you see a teacher down the hall who's just not getting it done and hasn't been getting it done for a while, is there a part of you, well, let me just ask you, do you think as a leader, you use the word?
Yes.
Do you think as a leader you have some responsibility to engage that teacher in a discussion about what he or she is or is not doing as a student? Or do you say, wait a minute, I'm not in administration, that's their job? I'm curious about that.
I love peer review, and I love the opportunity for teachers to work in learning communities to help each other learn. So I would say that we should bring that teacher in and talk about what's working and what's not working. Yes.
A bit, really?
Sometimes.
In our school it does. We have an exceptional school, and when I work with my colleagues, we've achieved incredible things, and we have a PLC. We meet on a regular basis and
What's
constantly.
that PLC?
Another.
Oh my God, you guys are incredible. Okay. So you're saying that you said you have an exceptional school. You believe the environment does exist in most schools for great teachers to go up to, recognize teachers like yourself, leaders to go up to other teachers and respectfully, in a collegial spirit, say, come on, you're mailing it in. Or however you want to say it, offer words of encouragement, something. You've done it.
Yes, yes.
And the response you get is, thanks so much for caring?
Yes, yes.
Well, sometimes you have to have challenging conversations with each
Hard
other.
conversations.
Right? I mean, that's part of the profession.
There's a way to do it, too, where you don't just walk up to someone and say, hey, I'm Teacher of the Year, let me help you out here.
No, not at all.
I think one of the greatest assets a teacher can have is another teacher.
That's right.
And we do, once a week as a 3rd grade, we meet and we get together and we share, oh, look here's what you did, what are you doing? Even in preparation for the New Jersey Ask, for the standardized testing, we're sharing materials, what are you doing? We're working together. And if there is someone that may not be quite along the lines of what we're doing, it may be a simple, hey, you know what, I found this, if you want to give it a try, just sharing, because that window of sharing is open anyway.
A couple minutes left. Do you feel a responsibility to mentor new teachers coming in?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Do it actively.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Particularly given your status, your position, you feel a responsibility to do that?
Yes.
So many teachers are going to retire, and so we really have to prepare the next generation for this. In the next 10 years, we're going to lose 1 million teachers. So we need to be reaching our hands to these young teachers who are starting out and helping and collaborating and working as teams.
Given all the challenges, given that teachers are often targeted, hey, do they really work that hard? They get summers off, the whole thing, end at 3 o'clock, all the perceptions and misperceptions, as the case may be. For every one of you who have children or may one day have children, whatever, encourage your children to go into teaching?
Yes.
Do I get a yes?
Yes, but to walk through the building, get a feel for what's going on in the school, volunteer. Are you comfortable there? Does that...
You gotta feel it, right? What do you say?
Absolutely. But just like a painter needs to love the smell of paint, you have to like children.
You gotta, don't do it because they think it's a good gig.
Exactly.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
I support my children, I support their education. So wherever they want their education to lead them, whether it be teaching or right now, some of my boys want to be firefighters. Whatever that is, I support their education.
Finally, good, 10 seconds.
My mission is to create the third generation and the next generation of physics teachers, and I'm taking charge in that.
Well, you are all incredible public servants, great educators, and your students are better off for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks so much.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. N13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, Barnabas Health, Sun National Bank, and by QualCare Inc. Promotional support provided by The Star Ledger and NJ.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
First steps, first day of school, first game. When their first day of college arrives, will you be able to pay for it? NJ Best can help. It is the 529 College Savings Plan for New Jersey families, and you can start saving today with as little as $25. To learn about NJ Best 529 College Savings Plan, its investment objectives, risks, and costs, read the Investor Handbook available at 877-755-GRAD or njbest.com.